So are you election ready now?
Oh, I've been election ready. I had, it was funny that going back 3 or 4 weeks ago, I took all my signs.
Pat, 3 terms is not easy to remain there in the 3 terms. There were lots of up and downs.
Yeah.
How you see your performance in the last council? Because we know that the council before there was so much of infight in between. How was the performance of this last council?
But when they call, they want service. And I have always believed, that when someone calls, to return their call back, or I just go to their home. And that's, you do it through the whole term, not just during the election time.
So for the regional councillors, the names which came in front so far, Ritu Daman Singh Dhillon, yourself, Anil Sachpal, Aman Sharma, Vedant Vyas. Any comments on that?
Well, listen, I don't know who the other people are. I know Rupman Dillon.
Yeah.
Listen, I respect anyone that runs. It's a lot of work. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. Putting your name forward, knocking doors, wasting 3-4 months of your family time and money and everything. It's a good thing for everyone.
The next municipal election will take place on Monday, October 26th, 2026.
But forget for a few minutes that you are a regional councillor in your ward. Being a regular resident, common person, what are the issues in your ward 7 and 8? Which are the concerned issues? Like there were a lot of RRL issues before, there are a lot of crime, there is a lot of inflation, the food price has gone up, the property tax, whether that was inflated or a smart maths. What are the issues when you do a door knock? The people there were still voting for you in last 3 terms, but you might have heard the concerns also. Yeah. What are those concerns? Any other concern? The crime concern, did you hear from the residents?
Well, the crime, no, not really. Like I did hear 1 or 2 residents saying, "Oh, there's a lot of crime and breaking in cars." Look, I think happens everywhere. I was talking to one of my friends who live in Kleinburg, lawyer there now. It happens in Kleinburg. It happens in Vaughan.
Across Canada, it's happening.
It's happening everywhere. I think, do you remember in 2014 I was on your show? Yes. What did I tell you? Yes. If we don't control on the crime, it's going to get out of hand.
Yes.
You cannot put people in jail and do bail the next day. And I said that in 2014 on your show. It's going to get out of hand. That's what happened to Europe. And now here we are, 12 years later, and it's out of hand, this bail reform.
You talked about the population, that here the population is less.
Yeah.
My question is, the population of Brampton as per Canada Census 2021, it was around 650,000 approximately, yeah, with a growth rate of 10%. And population as in 2026 will be more than 1 million. Is the population underreported? And because if the population is underreported, means we are not giving full services, we are underserved.
You're right. And people have the census card. You have to fill them in. They don't fill them in right.
Is it underreported?
And
population?
It's underreported because I believe, it shows what, 700, we're just over Mississauga, 780,000.
Yeah.
So we're here, I'll bet you we're close to a million. But people don't do that. And this is where happens a problem at the schools. The schools think, okay, there's 500 kids coming to the school, and all of a sudden 1,000 show up because they don't report everything.
Yes.
They don't report the illegal basements. They don't report everything. So it throws all the numbers off at the region appeal, our garbage, our police work, our household.
The next municipal election will take place on Monday, October 26th, 2026.
3 terms, regional councillor Pat Fortini from Ward 7 and 8. So 26th October 2026 is the Brampton selection date. And we have Pat Fortini who will be running for the 4th term. How was his performances the last 3 terms? So let's welcome him and ask him all the questions, which is your question, which you want to ask him. Pat, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here at this nice place here, bakery, Molizana Bakery.
Thank you. Thanks to this bakery in your ward. And Pat, 3 terms is not easy to remain there in the 3 terms. There were lots of up and downs.
Yeah.
How you see your performance in the last council? Because we know that the council before there was so much of infight in between. How was the performance of this last council?
Well, I find this council a little bit not as much fighting. We do it outside, not in council chamber. And we respect that, like we for the people and everyone else. But You know, a lot of times I'm the type of one of those old-fashioned types. It's not what you do in council. Is when people call you to go to the door, make sure their emails are replied, their phone calls are returned, and you know, like we've been knocking doors for the last 2 weeks. We stopped at during the heat. We did about 650 doors, and it's the same issues all the time. It's bike lanes, rooming houses, and overcrowded houses. And this is what people want. They want the service. Let's face it, a lot of people that go to work, they get up at 5:30, 6 in the morning. They go to work. They don't pay attention to what goes on in council. Very little. And because by the time they come home at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, they spend some time with their family, they have dinner, and then they go back to sleep, and tomorrow's another day. But when they call, they want service. And I have always believed, you know, like when someone calls, to return their call back, or I just go to their home, and that's, you do it through the whole term, not just during the election time.
So are you election ready now?
Oh, I've been election ready. I had, you know, it was funny that going back 3 or 4 weeks ago, I took all my signs down from the back of my shed there, and the raccoons got into. I had to wash everything, and
Okay.
yeah, you know, the signs are ready to go. They're all piled up on the side of the house, and my office will be open in probably the first week of August, second week of August. They're moving out at the end of the month, and everything's good. Council open.
So for the regional councillors, the names which came in front so far: Ritu Daman Singh Dhillon, yourself, Anil Sachpal, Aman Sharma, Vedant Vyas. Any comments on that?
Well, listen, I don't know who the other people are. I know Rootman Dillon.
Yeah.
Listen, I respect anyone that runs. It's a lot of work. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. You know, putting your name forward, knocking doors, wasting 3-4 months of your family time and money and everything. It's a good thing for everyone. And, you know, Mr. Rootman Dillon ran last night. And, you know, it's nice when people run over and over. When you get these new faces, you know, it's hard. So name recognition, he's there. I know there's a couple of people, Ward 1 and 5 are running again, and a couple of other people in Ward 9 and 10. And it's nice to have them there.
Pat,
And I wish them all the luck. Like I say, it's a lot of work.
Yes, it's an open game.
Yeah, it's an open game. I'm very...
Yes, but forget for a few minutes that you are a regional councillor in your ward.
Yeah.
Being a regular resident, common person, what are the issues in your ward 7 and 8? Which are the concerned issues? Like there were a lot of RRL issues before, there are a lot of crime, there is a lot of inflation, the food prices gone up, the property tax, whether that was inflated or a smart maths. What are the issues when you do a door knock? The people there were still voting for you in last 3 terms, but you might have heard the concerns also.
Yeah.
What are those concerns?
This term is a little bit, I hear, since, like I said, we knocked about $650. We started 2.5 weeks ago, and then during the heat we stopped. The main concerns is the rooming houses, illegal parking, and the bike lanes. Everyone's upset on these bike lanes. Nobody's using them. You know,
so why you guys voted for the bike
well,
lanes?
at the time it was a transportation plan, and we figured it was okay. But then you kind of realize that it's taking traffic.
Is Brampton a bike city?
It's not a bike city.
It's not a bike city.
It's
People
not.
don't have a place for parking.
I did say it even last term. I said, when we're doing these bike lanes, now what's there is there. It's hard to change. But while we're doing the new ones, put them on the boulevard. Now, to change them from the boulevard, from the road to Palm Boulevard, you got light poles, we planted trees, we got Rogers, we got bus shelters, we got fire hydrant. So it's a big cost to put everything back. But we're looking into it, and we're doing pretty good so far. That the councils, I think, is kind of realizing really there's not that many bike drivers out there.
So are we removing those lanes?
We're not going to start removing them, but we're looking to better needs, and some of them maybe put them on the boulevards, and the new ones we're going to come up with a better solution. Everything you do, like, I know if you go downtown Toronto, you need a bike.
Yes.
But this is a suburb, let's face it. And, we look at the bike lanes, it slows the traffic down. That's one thing it does. But it also causes congestions around schools and the environment, all the smoke. And if you go in one of my areas here in Ward 8 and on Glenville, you're putting in front of people's driveways. And, if there's Mother's Day or New Year's or something, where are these people going to go park if they got company? They got no other parking. You're going to go park on Queen Street. So, you got to give and take. We have to have a balance.
Any other concern? The crime concern, did you hear from the residents?
Well, the crime, no, not really. Like, I did hear 1 or 2 residents saying, there's a lot of crime and breaking in cars. Look, I think this happens everywhere. I was talking to one of my friends who live in Kleinburg, a lawyer there now. It happens in Kleinburg. It happens in Vaughan.
Across Canada, it's happening.
It's happening everywhere. I think, do you remember In 2014, I was on your show.
Yes.
What did I tell you?
Yeah.
If we don't control on the crime, it's going to get out of hand.
Yes.
You cannot put people in jail and do bail the next day.
Hmm.
And I said that in 2014 on your show. It's going to get out of hand. That's what happened to Europe.
Mhm.
And now here we are, 12 years later, and it's out of hand, this bail reform.
When we go to the public, to the residents, they are concerned about the government's policies, federal or provincial or municipal, about the tax rise, and they see a lot of crime happening, the petty crimes also. A few of the councillors in the city of Brampton, they put on their website that petty crime, police is not reporting a petty crime when it has been reported. They are not noting down the data. So they are doing on their website. How you see Peel Regional Police has a budget of 1 billion yearly. And when the motion came in front in the region of Peel about the auditing Peel Police, if you give a budget of 1 billion, then there must be an audit. Why the council, they reported they declined to audit Peel Police with the 1 billion of budget?
Yeah,
And you are also in the
They
region.
received a 23% increase. I know Mayor Karen Parrish, she was very vocal on this, to go back and look, check your, sharpen your pencil, see what you can do. Under the provincial legislation, we have to provide the tools necessary. Petty crime. I got my vehicle broken into. What do they take? They take some change. What is the police actually going to do with someone like that? These are mostly, let's face it, the homeless, people just going around collecting change. It's a waste of time. And, when I talk to most of these people, most of their calls are mostly domestic abuse, husband and wife, kids and stuff. They are so busy into that they can't. Now, I know they hired about 300 new officers. Our population, like on the officer portion on our population, is very low compared to other places like Quebec, whatever. It's, the capital. So, I think within 2 or 3 years, hiring more and more to give us more officers, and it'll kind of bring it down. But
so who voted against the auditing Peel Police in the region of Council?
Well, I was one of them. I'm being
You
very
voted
honest.
against?
Well, listen, you know what? It's a provincial act that says you have to give the tools necessary to them. Now, we're doing an audit. And there was a lot of miscommunication when the chief got 600,000. That was rears for his vacation pay and all. He didn't take vacation during COVID, all these crimes and all, for 2 or 3 years. So he piled up and he got it all at once. He couldn't sit home 6 months, so they had to pay him. And that happens everywhere else because his pay, it's not like he said he's the highest paid and all. So, there was a lot of miscommunications out there. And I think there's
So you are not in the favor of auditing Peel Police when we give the billions of budget?
PO could do what they can. Okay, let's face it. Crime's everywhere. People get shot every day. When you call them, if there's something, they will come if it's serious. And I've gone through a situation. They showed up there like quick. Now, if you're going to say, oh, they broke into my windshield, what do they take that? You want a police report. You want a police officer coming there. Or even here, they broke into the bakery here going back last year. You don't expect police to get here in a half hour. They're already gone. The criminals are gone. Get the cameras, do what you have to do the report. What else can they do?
You talked about the population that here the population is less.
Yeah.
My question is the population of Brampton as per Canada Census 2021, it was around 650,000 approximately, with a growth rate of 10%. And population as in 2026 will be more than 1 million. Is the population underreported? And because if the population is underreported, means we are not giving full services, we are underserved.
You're right. And, people have the census card. They have to fill them in. They don't fill them in right.
Is it underreported
And
population?
it's underreported because I believe, it shows 700, we're just over Mississauga, 780,000.
Yeah.
So we're here. I'll bet you we're close to 1 million. But people don't do that. And this is where happens a problem at the schools. The schools think, okay, there's 500 kids coming to the school, and all of a sudden 1,000 show up because they don't report everything.
Yes.
They don't report the illegal basements. They don't report everything. So it throws all the numbers off at the region appeal, our garbage, our police board, our household.
So why you are not taking up these issues? Underreported population. Province might be sending you funding as per the 600,000 population.
What's the province going to do? They sent you census cards to every home. You have to fill them in.
Yes.
People don't fill them in the right number. What is a province or us going to do? We'll knock every door? It's up to the people to say, I got 5 people living at home. So me and my wife lived there before. When it was my daughters were there, I would put 3 kids and let's say my wife and daughter. Now they got these basement apartments rented. They got rooming houses, and they only put 2 people. Meanwhile, there's 10. How are we gonna knock every doors?
So if people,
And that's not only in Brampton. That's everywhere.
if people are not reporting correctly, they are not filling up the forms.
Well, it's against the law to do it.
It's against the law,
It is.
but they are not penalized.
They're not penalized. So who's gonna go check?
It's a government's duty.
It's
because
who's gonna check.
the population, if population is underreported, means you and me ourselves, we are
Yeah.
getting less services.
We're getting less services. Like,
Yeah.
when they say, oh, you only need a second hospital, you only 600,000. No, we're $1 million. But
So who has to
unfortunately-
work on this?
well,
province or
listen,
federal?
I said, well, listen, when it comes to the census, it's a federal issue.
Okay.
And that's how also, when you do the census, that's how you also report how many people can vote.
Mhm.
Because if you're not on the census card, how are they going to mail you your voting card? So it throws off a lot of things: our garbage, our schools, our region appeal, our hospital, our police, and our taxes.
How many employees you have?
At the city,
Yes.
I got one and one, two.
Two employees?
Yeah, 2.
Is good enough. You can work.
Oh yeah.
properly.
No, I got 2.
Okay. Like, did you your budget and your expenses? You reported that.
Yes,
Any
sir.
issues? Any questions came on that?
No. I was actually Paleshi was the cheapest. He had 351,000 in total. I was 353. I was the second. Everyone else was way a little higher. No, I got
Okay.
no issue.
Okay. So why Brampton can't have the windrow services in the winters? Many people, they complained about that for years and years.
Well, listen, the windrows, the report came, it was going to cost $97 extra
Yes.
to property tax per house. So it's say $100 a year. Now, I've always been against windrows. It's not easy. You break people's lawn, you break people's concrete. You call and say, hey, that road is done at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's 3 o'clock, my road's not done yet. There's always a problem. Because when those machines come down and they clean that snow, sometimes the curb's sticking up high and they smash it. We have to repair it. So, once you start on this, it's not that great. Guys, it's Canada. So what? We have 2 storms, 3 storms, clean your snow. That's how I see it. Now, a lot of the seniors want it. But if you were told those seniors 30 years ago, it's going to cost you $100 extra, they would have said, no, I'll do it myself. So, it's a win-win. It's hard to make a decision on that, but I believe there's going to be a lot of damage because I see now when the sidewalks, the snowplow cleans the sidewalk, they rip out the grass, they rip out sprinklers, they hit a wall because you cannot see the sidewalk. And it's not the driver's fault. You can't see. You got this much snow.
Pat, corruption. Many people in Brampton, they talk about the corruption in the city hall. Is that only in the air, or there are some facts into that? Because you were quite vocal in the previous councils.
Yeah.
Is there any corruption in the Brampton? Because there were many controversies involved, many articles in the Toronto Star about the deputy mayor, about the mayor, about the Electra building, about the
Listen,
many things.
There's always
Is there a real corruption in the Brampton City Hall?
people like to talk. So we're going to talk here today. I'm going to say yes. Show me the proof. I'm going to say no. Show me the proof. There is no proof. So until actually people like to talk corruption. When you say that, you should show the proof too. Then you can feel. I don't see it. I don't see it. And unless things go behind my back, behind the doors, I don't know. But other than that, you know what? It's all talk. And a lot of the people that do that, like, under tax and the corruption, are mostly people trying to run elections.
So what
Run
about the
against the mayor,
Electra? What about the
against
Electra?
councillor.
What about the Electra building controversy?
Well, that was, you know what? It wasn't what it was. You know what? We were doing the cameras. I think who's to blame that as a province pulling out the cameras after we spent the money. And, those cameras are great. It was bringing in an income. It was hurting people's wallet because they speed. It was around schools, so people are driving slow. Once they removed them on my street, I live right around the corner from Goldcrest, people started speeding. When the camera's there, they were going slow. Now, what did we have to do? We had to put speed bumps. So it's a cost to the taxpayers. Look, Ford said there was a cash grab. I don't believe it. You go on the highway, it says 100. You're doing 160. Is that a cash grab? You're over the speed. That's why the police pull you over. If there's a goddamn camera there and it says 40, you're doing 40, 45, that's fine. But if you're doing 80 and then you're saying it's a cash grab, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. So, you know what? I think that was a great thing that we did. And unfortunately, we spent a lot of money and then they pulled the plug.
And what about the Nivas living? There was a lot of controversy again for the seniors Nivas living. Deputy Mayor name came out into that and he denied all the allegations. There was a pointer report. Then Councillor Toor and Councillor Kaur, they were aware about these all controversies about connected to the Nivas living, why it was voted by all the council members in favor to give the grant when there was a big conflict of interest? Do you agree there was a conflict of interest?
The next municipal election will take place on Monday, October 26th, 2026.
Well, listen, when they came to council, they asked for this, it's for senior living. You don't get all the details. And, if you start doing all this type of work, you need a lot of employees to do that. We look at staff reports. What staff report does that? Is it controversial? I don't think so. I know there's a little, some people talk, and I know, also, some people saying it was part of deputy mayor. Some people said no. Some people it's clean. Look, if it's there, it's going to come out. I don't see it. It's for senior living.
So before seeing, how come the other council members, they voted to give the?
Well, we did because it's about senior living. Like you're going to give something to seniors. We need some stuff for seniors. Look, the Holiday Inn over here is coming down. Those
But
seniors
you are
have
not
nowhere to
aware
go.
there was a conflict of interest with the deputy mayor and
I wasn't even aware he was on the media, on the board or anything, or anyone else. And if he is on the board, like it's not that he pocketed the money. It went towards senior living. So at the end of the day,
But conflict of interest. Then comes the ethics commission.
you know what? We still had the votes at the end of the day, and it wasn't him. He had maybe vote on it, but it was someone who came to delegate asking the money, and we support it because it goes for senior. Look, you go to Columbus Center, the Italians are there. I know there was a senior place here. I helped out for a lot of the Punjabis. So you get a Punjabi seniors, they like to go live somewhere. You cannot put them with my mother, let's say an Italian lady. They can't communicate. The food is different. The language is different. So it you're putting them in a jail. So it's nice that her care, the deputy mayor did for them. We got Columbus Center. Each one has their own, and it's a good thing. Now, if there a conflict, that's something he has to deal with himself, not me.
Okay. Anything.
He has to declare the conflict, not us.
Okay. So anything concerns you in the city hall, which concerns you, like you are concerned about those issues, which is not happening right? Anything?
Yeah, there was one thing that really bothered me. Like we got the Howden Rec Center and Victoria Park. Those, Victoria Park back then, the recreation center caught fire. They were approved in 2017. And Victoria Park's under construction. That's great. But Howden, it's like they keep pushing it over, and then they're changing drawings, and then it's going to change again. Then the library's coming, and we keep changing. And now the cost is so high. So I was hoping that would have been started already 2 or 3 years ago. People we tore it down. Like why tear down the rec center when we weren't ready to build? And that's a little bit disappointing. But there's a library coming there now, and hoping within soon it's going to start. And it kind of delayed it. And it was also an area that me and Councillor Miles put there back at the time. It was a snapshot. It's mostly for kids who are disabled. We give them a place where these people could play.
Okay,
And,
if we talk about the fiscal reality, 0% tax hike in the city of Brampton in the recent budget, 0% tax hike. Is that an illusion or is that a smart maths? Because there is an additional 1% for the hospital levy. Region also increased 3.36%, and there is a total of 7.8% increase in the utilities from the region. So total projected hike is 4.36%. But as per the city, there is a 0% tax hike. Illusion or a smart maths?
I think this was good. And this is the mayor's budget. He did very good. Look, when we did the hospital levy last time, I was the one who did it. Put the 1% because we have to come up with our share. We have to start this hospital. This hospital here, if you go here, is very, very busy. And I remember back then when I brought my wife waiting for 12 hours, I had to take her out and bring her to Georgetown. I wasn't one to put the 1%, the first one, the one pushing for the hospital. The mayor came up with a second 1%, which is great. We got to come up with $120-something million here. And we got to get this hospital going. So now the region, the region, you got the police board budget, you got all kinds. That's a 3%, 4.3%. If you look across the board, across all the municipalities, we're not that high. We're very low.
Project delays, the construction. City of Brampton resident says there is a construction going on across the city and there are delayed projects. We don't see the people, the workers, the construction worker working 7 days. They work hardly. That's the reason delay is there. They are not working weekends, and the projects are pushed to 2028-29. And another reason quoted is that city has taken a loan from those projects which announced the funding for those projects, like 19.4 million loan taken from Peel Memorial Hospital Reserve Fund, 4 million loan from Downtown Reimagined Project, 800,000 from Clark Transit Facility, 600,000 from sidewalk repairs. Result is projects pushed to 2028-29. In where the city hall is, there is a road on the main street, and that is going on for the construction for last so many years. The people have a very hard time to cross the city of Brampton's the main street.
You're right. And, when they started that project, they said it was going to be about 3 years. So, it takes time and one lane and all. So now they're doing the other side. They did say it's going to take about 3 years, and we're on the second.
But we hardly see the workers working there.
No, they're working. They were working there today.
If
when you go on a Saturday and Sunday, you cannot have. Look, I worked in construction. When you start passing the overtime, it's big money. People start at 7 o'clock, 3:30, they leave. If you start bringing people Saturday and Sundays, double time, triple time.
But they are not even working 5 days a week. The construction people.
I'd see
if you go right now,
if you go downtown now, downtown they're working. I just left City Hall. They're working there. Like you can't have 100 people working there.
But BIA, they are complaining about this. They have a complaint, BIA.
First of all, going back up to 2 years ago, you heard all over the place it was shortage of work. I know I work for a big company. It's called Verdi Alliance now. And you go to the unions, they couldn't even find workers at the time. So when you can't find workers, you manage for what you have. Things get delayed. Okay, and that's one thing. But if you go downtown, there's I've seen people working on the other side near McLaughlin. They're City Hall. They're doing concrete. You can only have so much. And the trades is very, very hard to find people. And things get delayed. But you can't expect people to work on Saturday and Sunday.
But loans taken from those
well, as long as they get done. Yeah, that's what it's loans. Just like you go to a bank, we have to pay it back. Either way,
but why do you take loans from those projects which already announced?
Well, because they're not ready to go yet. We're a lot of them, let's say like Howden Rec Center, we're going through a design stage. So the money's staying there, but when this was ready to go, you might as well take it from here and then just transfer it back.
So that's what I asked. That is the reason for the delay of the projects, pushing back to another years and years. That is the reason people are saying.
Well, it's not really there. If you got, so when you get funding from the province and all, you have to be shovel ready. So you work on the design, and this is ready to go. So when you get the money, it's there. If we're working on this and this is ready to go, and Howden, let's say, my ward, is not ready, and there's 60 million sitting there, you're just going to leave the money sitting there, not doing nothing, and that you can't build this because the construction costs next year go up. I'll give you an example. Howden Rec Center was $23 million. We're at 82 now. So if this is going to be delayed, you might as well take the money here, put it there, start that one. When this money comes in, you just transfer it back and pay it.
And what is the status of Brampton's second hospital?
Well, this
shuffle on the ground.
That's a province. There's what
city has to ask.
We did. We came up with
shuffles are not there in the ground yet.
No,
because we attended press conference many times, and we did a pictures with that. Okay, shuffle in the ground. Where is the shuffle?
Groundbreaking. The mayor put on 1% levy, which is good.
Yes.
We're pushing, and if the province doesn't go there with a shovel, we can only send letters and emails. These are something they have to ask.
Did you remind province that where are the shuffles?
No, and this is something you guys have to ask the MPPs. Well, guys, this hospital.
We are asking.
We have our money there. We have our money there.
So why they are not having the shuffles?
So that's something that we have to
do you agree sending billions of dollars now? Recently, 900 million announced for the Ukraine. 25.5 billion to the Ukraine, where the Canadians are saying, the Bramptonians are saying,
federal.
There is no, yes, being a federal, that's why I said,
the hospital's provincial.
Forget that you are a regional councillor, just talk about as a common Canadian, regular Canadian, our taxpayers' money going across the overseas, is that pinches you?
It does pinch us, especially when you get gas is so high, food is so high here. Look, I don't know how people eat these days, it's expenses. And we're sending. I believe in help your country first. Whatever's left over, you send it out. You do not give to charity if you can't feed your own kids. Right?
Reason we are sitting here in the grocery store, here the bakery, these food prices, these small businesses, it's very hard for them to survive. You were telling me that even this bakery, there was a full house. Now the people, they cannot afford. When our federal government has to spend has to give the grocery rebates,
Yeah.
the grocery essentials to
Yeah,
back to
but
the
re-
Canadians.
the-
Means the Canadians are struggling. That's the reason federal government
Rebates doesn't
Rebates.
help at all.
doesn't help at all.
It's not like you're giving someone,
Yeah.
here's $5,000 help.
So being a city, are
So
you
that you
raising
get-
these voices?
Yes, but if you're giving $300 rebate, that's nothing. Over here, there used to be 4 or 5 people before COVID.
Yeah.
Now, he doesn't even open on Sundays. People can't afford. And you're right. The federal should, I understand we have to be part of a society, say we have to help other countries too. But if your country is suffering and you don't have any food to eat your own kids, why would you go feed your neighbor's kids when your kids have nothing to eat? But we can only send letters. We can only do that where we can. This is a federal issue. It's not regional or city.
So that's a federal issue. The other one, the hospital, there is no shovel. There's a provincial
It's
issue.
a province.
The project delays in the city are the city's issue.
Well, they did the groundbreaking. They said they were supposed to start. Our money's there. That's why
How
even
many times they did a groundbreaking?
Yeah. Well, no, once. We did it once.
I
it
attended
was
a
about
couple of
7
times.
months ago. We did a nice
I attended a
groundbreaking.
couple of groundbreakings.
So,
for the
we did the
hospital.
groundbreaking and it's supposed to start. And you know what? People keep voting for these same MPs and all. What can I say, MPs?
Okay.
But the mayor on the budget, they're a good thing for the extra 1%. We have to come up with 120 million. The money's almost there. You know what? Now the province has to say, okay, let's dig. Let's start. Our money's there. So,
Okay, coming back to the city of Brampton's, the bylaw. Are you happy with the steps city has taken for the bylaw?
Yeah.
With all the AI cameras and 360-degree cameras and having more officers on the ground. Are you satisfied with the bylaws? Parking
Look,
issues were there.
The parking issue is always going to be a problem.
Yes.
Bylaws can only do so much. We have to follow the provincial federal laws. So you have a rooming house. Let's say we knock on your door. And a lot of people don't understand. And then once you knock on the door, we want to enter, you close the door on the bylaw. Bylaw leaves your letter, you got 21 days to call. They got to come back. You close the door again, you got to give them 15 days. You don't, they got to take you to a court to give you an order to comply. It could take up to 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And then they say, we don't do nothing. That's the law. So I think, they're trying to do their best. And the Canada Day this time was pretty great. We had a lot of checkpoints, but that cost money.
Yes.
Police, security, our bylaws, they were everywhere. And it went through safe.
So what you'll say about the garbage bin storage rules and the introducing, because city introduces the graduated fine system in 2025 to address this issue of overflowing the bins. So is that issue resolved now?
Well, it's not all resolved because there's a lot of them because those are always the rooming houses now.
Yes.
Like I got one across the street from me. There's a basement apartment. It's legal.
Yes.
They got one bin. I think once the city takes over the garbage, I think it's time for them, maybe if you got a legal basement, you should have 2 bins. You should have.
Okay.
Because, you got one in the basement, it's illegal. One on the top, 1 bin's not enough. And the garbage comes every other week.
Okay. Pat, 3 terms in the council. For 12 years. Now another 4 years you are asking from Ward 7 and 8 residents why they should vote for Pat Fortini, the regional councillor, on October 26th.
Yeah, well, so I was a city councillor at the beginning. When Councillor Miles retired, I went to region because I would not, even though we had a difference, I wouldn't be stepping on someone else's feet. I'm now an opportunist. She retired, I ran region, and I believe, I've been always transparent. When someone called, I called back, and I never promised anything. I always say, let me see what I could do. And if I could do it, I could do it. If I can't, I can't. And, like I say, people don't pay attention what goes on the City Hall that much. It's what the service they get. And people want service. I know someone called me this weekend. I went there Saturday afternoon over some problems with a neighbor. And I couldn't help because that's an offense issue. That's between you and the neighbor. It's legal. We as a city cannot get involved. But at least she was thankful that I was there.
Yeah.
People just ignore that, and that's not good. They want service.
So anything differently you will do if you get elected in
No,
next council, that you want to promise your residents that I will do this, or
Well,
which is
listen,
in
I've
your
always
vision?
promised, like I said, I don't promise anything, but one promise I will make, and when they call, I try to call them back.
Okay.
I've always told both my staff, anywhere I go, I do not want to hear that they sent an email or phone call and we didn't reply back.
Okay.
Someone yells at you, hang up the phone. But if they're there, we're there to help them and serve them. And that's the main thing, is to serve. A lot of people think council's a job. It's not a job. It's a service.
It's a service.
It's a job is like I did, for many years. You got up at 5 o'clock, you came home at 8 o'clock at night. That is a job working for a company. This is something that you want to actually service. And that's why the difference.
That's why
difference.
it's called a public servant, because they don't remain themselves a public servant.
No.
They think that they are
It's a
above the
job.
laws.
It's a job. I worked for a company 29 years. I kind of retired, sat at home to run my own business, but then I always like politics and I enjoy it. It's not only about the pay. Yeah, you got your paid, but still, you do your service. If that's the case, if it's a job, go find a job like everyone else.
Okay, we wish you all the best for coming elections.
I will.
All the best from all of us.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
The next municipal election will take place on Monday, October 26th, 2026.